Hey, what's up everybody? Prospector here with Watcher of Realms. Today we're going to be talking about Carnelian. And this is going to be a hero guide, kind of a general use case, how to use her, how to build her, how to do everything you can do with a Carnelian. But anyways, without further ado, let's dig in. Okay, so the first thing that I want to kind of cover here is going to be the factions. We're going to be looking at the Chaos Dominion, going to be paired with Gon and Valderon. This is something that has to be mentioned, and that is because a lot of these heroes, when they start using their abilities, they reduce their health. You know, Artie is going to constantly be dropping her health down to 0. Valeria is going to be doing the same thing. Actually, that's kind of broken, to be honest with you. She has her own unyielding, but if it activates, she dies through Carnelian's essence anyways. And all these guys, Durza, Valderon, they all kind of just reduce their HP, and they have this like mechanism in there that the more their HP is reduced, the more damage they're going to do. And Carnelian helps keep them alive. Now the other one is going to be the Cursed Cult. It's kind of a weird faction to fit in with. There's not a lot of reasons I think that she fits in there very well, to be honest with you. It does work with a lot of these heroes, I guess, but to be honest with you, I just don't see it really happening. There's a couple here, like, you know, Uridin or whatever, but it's not going to be that good of a synergy, if you would. Now, a little bit about the way she looks. She has these essences in her hands, which she shares with her allies. She's like an orc-looking female character. Almost looks like she's carrying a whole fence with her. Anyway, some skulls. The whole orc idea, I guess. Looks pretty cool. Very cool looking hero. I like the way that looks. So let's move on to the skills. Over here on the skills, first thing they're going to note is that she does the magic damage type, but she is a healer at most, so that doesn't really matter. Talent: after the hero's healing waves reach an ally without soul essence 7 times, grant soul essence to them. Now you'll be able to see her skills here. She kind of just like keeps bouncing these healing waves. Boom, 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 boom. There's a healing wave right there. You can see how she's doing that. Now, if she hits allies that don't have soul essence 7 times, she's going to give that to them. That soul essence is going to offer them the ability for basically unyielding. So when receiving fatal damage, the bearer consumes the soul essence and becomes unyielding for 5 seconds. Alright, so basic attack: single target heal, releases a healing wave to one ally in range and grants attack based healing to the target reached if their HP is below 30%. So in order for her to heal, they have to drop below 30%. This mechanic is in there for good reason. Basically, on all the Chaos faction units, you want to have their HP nice and low. But she does give like a nice little trickle heal if they get too low, because you don't want them to get to the point where they actually end up dying. This is the way to handle that. So basically, she's gonna do like a nice little heal. 50-60% health is what they'll end up at, something like that along those lines. And then we'll go back to trying to let them lose health again. All right, on the next skill: energy refraction. First passive: when a healing wave reaches an ally with soul essence, it will bounce to another nearby ally up to 3 times. However, its healing effect will decrease by 20% after each bounce. This does go away with later on awakenings. I think it might be the A1, to be honest with you. I'd have to look. We'll look in just a moment actually, but yeah, basically you get reduced healing the more times it bounces, but she does have healing. It's not great. When a healing wave reaches an ally with soul essence, it deals 60% AoE damage to up to 7 enemies around the ally. It's not impressive. It's not impressive damage. You're just gonna be better off building her as trying to keep her alive and keep her allies alive with healing and speed is what we're gonna be looking for. Focusing on damage, just don't do it. I've tried, it doesn't really help, trust me. We have an arena cost reduce passive, which is gonna give her arena cost reduction by 5. We also have on the ultimate soul infusion, it's a manual ultimate. 900 cost, you have 600 rage to start off when you place her down. Grants soul essence to all allies with HP below 50% in range, and grants physical damage reduction and magic damage reduction to all allies in range. This has a little bit of a delay. So what's gonna happen is you're gonna activate her ultimate, you double click it or you click on the button to activate her ultimate, there's gonna be like a 4 or 5 second delay. It's not even really that much, probably a 2 to 3 second delay before she actually activates. So if you want this to have the damage reduction on her allies prior to them getting hit, you're gonna make sure you kind of preemptively see that coming, activate her ultimate early enough. But that's not usually the way that people use Carnelian. People use Carnelian in a way that you try to time it, so like a hit's gonna come down, you know it's gonna hit your allies, and their HP is gonna get reduced really low. They might have soul essence at the time. So when that happens, what you're going to do is try to make it so it's timed right, so their ultimate activates when their HP drops below 50%, or if they go down to 0. And what happens then is she's going to reapply the soul essence to all allies with HP below 50% in range, which would be the ones that would be zeroed out. If they reach 0 from that hit, they will lose their soul essence and most likely end up getting knocked out of the fight on the next hit. Okay, so most popularly used in Apocalypse 2 or Apocalypse 1. I'm going to show you that today as the main example to show how to use her. It's going to be in Apocalypse 2. All right, so on to the awakenings here. Awaken level 1, within 15 seconds after casting Soul Infusion, when any ally in range has their soul essence consumed, basically if they hit down to 0 and unyielding kicks in, the duration of unyielding will be increased by 1 second. They get a little extra time in that unyielding state before they actually lose the unyielding and can get hit again and get knocked out of the fight. Awaken level 2 is going to be attack plus 300. This is going to help with that healing wave. It's not really the greatest awakening level 2, especially for this hero, because we're not going to even really focus too much on healing. It's there though. Keep that in mind, it is there. Awaken level 3, the healing effect of healing waves will no longer decrease with each bounce. So I guess it was Awaken level 3 that the healing bounce no longer has that trickle down effect where she has less healing effect per hit. But on to Awaken level 4, all damage reductions plus 8%. This is going to be an extra 8% on top of that 20% from her ultimate when she does give allies that damage reduction when her ultimate is cast for 15 seconds. Awaken level 5, there's a 20% chance that soul essence won't be consumed upon triggering. Basically, when your heroes that have soul essence are in range and they go down to 0 health, go into unyielding from the soul essence, there's a chance that soul essence won't disappear. Typically it does. If you go down to 0 and they use the soul essence, they go into unyielding state and the soul essence disappears. We have a trick to solve that issue. As long as all your heroes are getting hit at the same time within their range, then that can solve that problem. But if you misfire or whatever, this can kind of help you out if the hero is just going to go down to 0 health. Okay, now we're going to go into the gallery really quick just to check out the attributes. It's always nice to get to see a nice fresh look at it. Here she is. Hero details, max. Okay. You can see it says team protection and AoE heal. You can see her range there. HP is going to be at 10,686. Attack is at 4731. Defense is at 854. Magic res 2136. Cost is 18. It's not too crazy. Block is 1. That doesn't really matter. You point 60. Attack interval is 2.5, so you can get that down to a nice solid 1.4 to 1.5. It's pretty easy. And everything else here is pretty standard. Regen auto is 15, basic is 9, and attacks is 6. Alright, so back to the hero screen. We're gonna go over her build a little bit and how you should build Carnelian. First things first, there's plenty of options for healers on the right side. Invigoration is just the most easy to come by. If I were to say any other options that'd be good, it'd be like a Wings of Grace set, maybe a Asclepius set, something along those lines to keep her alive and well. You could try a morale set as well to have her be the one that is offering that extra damage to the allies on the team. That's always a good option, but it's Carnelian and she really doesn't need anything more than an Invigoration set. So unless you have like a super OP Wings of Grace set, I suggest going with Invigoration. Obviously, or Asclepius if that's what you're stuck with. HP bonus, you're going to notice really high HP, you're going to notice really high attack speed, and you're going to notice some really high rage regen. All the other stats are not really that important. But on the Bengal, we're going to go for HP bonus, try to get that HP nice and high, especially in Apocalypse 2. Really high attack speed, really high rage regen. On the Amulet, you're going to shoot for attack speed, HP bonus substats, rage regen, and healing effect. all the same stuff, just like a normal healer. On the ring, we're going to shoot for rage regen on the ring, shooting for attack bonus, attack speed. It'd be nice to pick up some HP bonus, but you don't have to necessarily. Try to get that up nice and high. But also some healing effect would be nice down here on the bottom as a 4th substat. Onto the left side, now there's a few options here. I prefer Whirlwind because it is the fastest set in the game. And you want her to be super fast. The faster she is, the faster she's triggering rage regen, the faster she can come back to her ultimate again, especially for Apocalypse 2. You need her to be nice and fast, so when during the saw phase, after he hits you, you have her ultimate come back in time, so you can reuse it again for the next saw hit. Titan Saw. So we're gonna be looking for attack speed, rage regen, attack bonus, and then we're gonna be looking for HP bonus or healing effect. Same thing here, attack speed, rage regen, attack bonus, and possibly some healing effect would be nice. Or you could try to pick up some HP bonus as well. As you can see, I don't have the perfect gear. Not every single slot is perfect. So you can see we have plenty of stats though to deal with most scenarios. On the HP, we're coming out to a total of 33.6k HP, but right around 10k attack. That's really hard to get really high on a hero like this. 1.1 second attack interval. She's very, very fast, guys. You want to have your Carnelians super, super fast. The rage regen up at 145%. It's probably a bit high. You could probably shoot for like 100 to 120. I found that to be a good number to shoot for. I'm just a little crazy and just go through the roof to make sure that she does come back. It does scale, but the scale has like definite diminishing returns right around 100 to 120. All right, so let's move on to the artifact, shall we? There's a few options here. If your rage is a little low and you couldn't quite get it up, you can go with the Golden Scarab. I prefer to go with the Golden Scarab anyways because it just doesn't really matter to me. There is some other options though. If you want some extra healing, a Taya's Balm is going to be a really good option. When the hero has less than 40% HP, which is usually when she triggers a healing wave and has higher heals, it's going to increase her healing multiplier by 50%. It's quite significant. A really popular option is going to be a Euphoric Orb, but we typically have these on other heroes anyways. Increases the attack speed of all heroes in range by 30 for every 60 seconds, lasting for 40 seconds. So they're going to have an extra 30 attack speed, 40 seconds out of a minute. So 2/3 of the minute, they're pretty much going to have the boosted attack speed. Euphoric Orb is really powerful. And beyond that, there's not going to be very many artifacts that are going to be worth your time even looking at. Honestly, it's going to be just that. So I think we covered that pretty well. I think the gear's set up pretty well here. Let's go ahead and take her into Apocalypse 2 so I can show you how to use her skill in one of the most important and common use cases for Carnelian. Alright, so here we are at Apocalypse 2. Let's join the fight here. This is my golden team. It scores really, really high. Upwards of roughly around 350 to 420, somewhere in that range, depending on how many times I want to try it and take the attempt. So this team is super, super overpowered, okay? As you can see, I am using Valoran. It does benefit to have him along. We have Carnelian, Durza. Durza is going to help with the rage regen, a little bit of inspiration. He's also going to help us trigger Kagiri when Kagiri is not being hit. So you can actually sheathe Kagiri's weapon and use Durza to trigger him. And we have Sumukong, of course. We have Volca. We have Yuri for the decreased defense. Volca's also offering some vulnerabilities to physical damage as well. We have Narissa in there for the AoE damage reduction. We have some cleansing coming out of her. Elowen is the same thing. And then we have our tank with Torador. We also get a decreased defense from Yuri, so it's not really necessary. We could essentially switch this out, and I haven't tried it yet. I probably will. With somebody like a Ryzan would be a good option. It's definitely, you want it to have to be a platform unit though. Anyways, let's just get in there and I'll show you how to set up the team. Typically how we use Carnelian. There's a couple different ways, but the most popular way is what we're going to go over today. Let me get into fight mode here. There we go. All right, yep, there's the happy boss. Here he comes. All right, so I'm going to pause it, put on 1x. And what we're going to do is we're going to obviously place down one of these guys. So we'll just go with Kagiri. And then I'm going to go ahead and place down Durza. Durza in this fight is going to be wearing the Wings of Grace set. Then we can place down our Kong right here. Then we can place down Eloin. We could place down our Yuri. We could place down Narissa facing this way. We can cover that side. Go ahead and place down your Valderon. And then we can place down Carnelian. She's in Invigoration. That means that all these guys should have that Invigoration buff of 10%. Fury should be sitting at the 12% here from Durza. Then we're going to go ahead and place Volca up here and Torador up here. As you can see, everybody is within her skill range. Her heals will bounce out of range occasionally, so if you have a hero like a Torador that's not in range, that's fine. If you need to bring an extra ground unit instead, go for it. It's not going to hurt anything. So let's go ahead and just put on 2x here. I'm going to show you the timing on her ultimate. So here comes the first Death Saw. If it will come and hit us before we take it out. It should. I should get to show you. Now, this isn't going to do enough damage where I can apply all the essences right away, but I'm going to show you the timing of the saw, okay? So basically, he's going to hit over here on the left side. He's going to come back, and as soon as the saw gets to right about right here, we're going to activate her ultimate. Right there. And as it's coming down, you see the timing? Right when he hits, she's going to activate. Just for clarification purposes, I'm going to go ahead and just activate all these guys. That's how I do this. We basically activate everybody during the vulnerability phase, and that gets our damage boost up during the boss's vulnerability phase. You do this as often as you can during Apocalypse 2. Semrah is a tough cookie. Alright, so back to 2x. What we're going to do is this Earth Shatter typically doesn't do a ton of damage. If you think it does, go ahead and use Eloin if you need to. Otherwise, we're going to wait. Alright, there goes the Earth Shatter. We're not going to get back to the skill quick enough. Okay, so there's going to be a slam here. Typically, there is a slam right there. But this time there wasn't this time around. What it means is that, well, he just died too fast for us to know where to take care of that. But essentially, what we're going to do at that point is wait, count to 5 seconds. So it's off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we activate Carnelian. He's going to do a big slam. This is more effective later on in the fight. It's going to definitely zero out your heroes, and then she will apply the essence back onto the heroes again. All right, so back to 2x. All right, so what I'm going to do is get us down a little bit later in the fight, so that way you can actually see this in play. It's kind of a little tight right here, so I'll be right back. Actually back a little bit earlier because we should be able to see this next hit come down. All right, so there it goes. He comes back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hit Carnelian. And he should hit right about the same time. Oh, it was a little early there, so maybe count to 6. It's really hard to do, but I usually put on 1x. I usually count to like 5. A little bit slower than what I just did, but that's typically how you get that hit to be nullified, essentially. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, coming up on that Death Saw again. We are now in phase 4. We're sitting around 126k damage on the boss. The fight doesn't really start for me until phase 6. It's kind of like a just get there. But here we go. Here comes that saw. It's coming back. Remember that spot? It's gonna be right there. He'll come down. He'll slam. See how he hit a lot of these heroes? A lot of them lost their essence, and because they were below 50%, she reapplied the essences to them again. I think you can see the essence here. Let me see if it's on here. Ooh, damage taken, attack by Semrah's giant sword, you then receive 20%. No, I guess you can't really see it. All you get to see is these little orbs above the boss that indicates that the essence is on there. All right, I'll come back at the next part of the fight and we'll go over that. All right, so phase 4, state part 2, I guess you want to call it that. Pulls the shield back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hit. All right, he's gonna swing. He should hit. She's going to reapply the essences again. This offers you like an infinite amount of unyielding with Semrah, especially Apocalypse too. You don't have to deal with anything. It doesn't become an issue. I'll be right back with the next poison phase and we'll go over that. Be right back. All right, we're definitely gonna catch it this time. No worries, guys. We're gonna get the right phase. Here comes the first hit. We're gonna clear the poisons with Elwyn. As soon as he gets back, we're gonna go ahead and activate Carnelian. As soon as that arm settles, boom, activate Carnelian. Now he's gonna come and swing. Around at the same time. Maybe you have to wait, give yourself a little bit of like a 1 second delay. Basically, he's gonna do that big hit, and that's another one of those big slams that hurts really bad. So if the longer you go into the fight, the more it's gonna be, or more it's gonna hurt. Or if you don't have heroes like Nerissa, it might be a little bit earlier. But Carnelian can just keep you in the fight. She just keeps you in the fight, keeps you going, and you don't have to worry about anything, basically. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just end this fight because I need to get this run in anyways for the week, and I don't plan on doing it again. So yeah, we're pretty much good to go. Pull these heroes off, and I will actually save. I don't feel like going all the way to like the 380 to 420 mech fragments right now. 155 gives me that 120, we're good to go. Easy peasy with Carnelian. Carnelian makes this so easy for you guys. It's unbelievably easy. All right, so 120k is in. We don't need to update anything, we're good to go. But as you can see, Carnelian is super overpowered. Now, if you want some more details on Carnelian, I have that set up right here. You can see it on the website. Go to prospector.gg/hero/Carnelian. I'll put this link down in the description below, and you can see everything that there is about Carnelian. Of course, you'll see her skills, her tags, all of her information that's usually there in the game for you. You can actually see it, but you can, if you want to check it out here, you can see it here as well. We also have the 2-piece gear sets you should be using. I put Warlord in there as a good option. That is a really good option. Whirlwind and Warlord are kind of the same. They're very close. If you need to have a little more speed, just go with Whirlwind. I might switch this around. Salvation is a good option if you want to focus on some bigger heals when they get below that 30%. That's always a good option. We also have the substat priorities down here. On the 3-piece side, I have Invigoration, Morale, and Mana Spring. Mana Spring is going to help you with the rage gen a little bit more. Maybe a little bit more of an earlier game thing, but we have the main stat priorities right here. And we have the substat priorities as well. On the artifacts, we go with Golden Scarab, Taya's Balm, and then Euphoric Orb. These are going to be the artifacts that you're going to shoot for. You can see her attributes versus the class specific or overall. We also can see the awakenings, and the BP is not filled out yet. Kind of surprised in that one, but we have ratings here as well. So stage average, she gets a 3-star. This doesn't mean that she's a bad hero. This just means that in a lot of these stages, she scores a 0. A lot of the stages she scores super high. Drake's Chasm is going to be a 3.5-star. Titanic Ruins is a 5-star. Saurian Grimscale, it's going to be a 4-star. She does work in there, so to a certain extent. Not as good as some other stages though, but Guild versus Guild, she's awesome. GVG, Carnelian is awesome. Just put her in range. Those heals, that's where you want to build up her heals a little bit more, are going to help keep your heroes alive. They get that soul essence, extra unyielding against the demons. It's beautiful. Faction Trials is about a 4-star compared to a lot of heroes that almost always get like a 5-star in Faction Trials. Void Rift is a 4.5. There's a couple of stages that she can be useful. Tide is a 3. That's basically because the BP is not really that high. Anti-air for Arena is going to be a 3. It's pretty low. Early game, it might work out for you for a while. A single target is a 3.5 to 4-star range. That is just because sometimes if you decide to run Valderon, you want to run your Carnelian with him. If you're not pushing Overlord or Apex or whatever, it could be a good option for a good team. AoE is going to be a 3-star as well. And then we have the Wasteland Titan. It's going to be a 4-star in Immortal Codex. And then Lord of Styx kind of works. You put in there a 2-star if you just want to try to keep your heroes alive a little bit longer and just suffer the slams. Could work out pretty in the early game where you don't have to worry about him doing too much damage. Gear Raids. Gear Raid 1 is a 4-star, can keep your heroes alive, does the job. Gear Raid 2 is going to be awesome. She does a good job putting essences out there, and that offers you unyielding. You can take those slams, they don't just get wiped off the board. Gear Raid 3 is a 3-star. Maybe if you have a hero that's going to take a hit at some point, it's pretty rare that it's going to be useful. Gear Dungeon 1 is going to be a 3-star, and then Gear Dungeon 2 is going to be a 4.5-star. This is going to help keep your heroes alive in that bottom left corner. We also have some suggested videos that usually pop up right here, but it looks like she doesn't have any, but this is going to be, I guess, the first one. But that's all I have for today's video, guys. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you enjoyed the Carnelian build guide. If you did, let me know down in the comment section down below. Did you enjoy this guide? What about it was good for you? What about it was bad? Just let me know, and I'm always open to critique and changing the way these guides are formed. I hope you found the video helpful. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you check out smile1.prospector.gg to help support me, the website, the community, and now even the Discord bot. And thank you guys for all of your support. It means a lot to me. I've been the Prospector. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep digging.